Welcome in, Bison. Wait, Kernels Nation. It is now baseball season. I got to get used to saying Kernels again. So Ryan Dettman here, joined by Kernels head coach Brandon Detlefsen, and we're doing something new. So doing a little video podcast. So hopefully you're seeing this. This is kind of the test run. Coach Detlefsen was kind enough to join us today, and I know I'm excited to get ready for baseball. How are you doing right now? We got some bad weather to work through, but how excited are you to get the season going?
Oh, absolutely excited. It's been a weird start to the preseason, I guess. We had a lot of bad weather. We've been inside a lot, but the facilities we have are really nice to be able to hit inside and to field ground balls inside. And then we have our football field out on the turf there. We'll be able to work out there when it's cold out. So, really exciting. Every time you get to this point in the season, you're just antsy to go. And we just had our first two games postponed today or Friday and Saturday. So, but the good thing is, I just told the assistant coaches we have news that our official opening day is going to be Monday, because Monday looks like it's going. So we are excited. It's anytime you get to the opening day of any sports season, it's exciting.
Definitely, and a couple more days to prepare might not hurt. You guys had a bit of a slow start to your preparation with the Central City basketball team having a deep run. So, maybe everything will work out for the best there. Plenty of reasons to be excited. Looking at last year's team, Cale Jensen's gone. Obviously that was somebody who wrote the history books and the record books and accomplished a lot of great things. But there's some studs coming back for you guys. So I know I'm excited. And then looking at Class C as well, the first year of Class C, you guys land there. And, it's pretty easy to say that you guys belong in the conversation of who are those top teams in Class C. So it's definitely looking to be an exciting season. Looking at some of those guys like Noakes and Freeze coming back, and Greg, and this year's senior group, how excited are you to see these guys get one more year? And what's the goal for this team?
Yeah, we're going to have 7 starters that have 2 years of state postseason experience in the high school ball, and several guys with postseason experience in the Legion ball. And so, I'm very excited. We have a great senior leader class. A lot of guys that have strong arms. This might be the deepest pitching staff we've had, knock on wood, in years. And so we're very excited. The whole team is bookend with a big senior class and a big freshman class. And so it's going to be a fun ride, both JV and varsity this year.
Definitely. And, like you said, that freshman class, man, you sent me over that roster this morning, and I was kind of looking at that, and there's some guys that I kind of even forgot about that. I was like, oh, yeah, they're baseball players, and they're pretty darn good. So, how excited are you for just where the program's been built to and the future, looking at a big senior class and a lot of talent there as well?
Yeah, and that's the one thing we emphasize to our players, that moving to class, back to your Class C question, moving to Class C, we're not guaranteed anything. We've learned that it's hard to get to the state tournament. It's both years it was a grind. We were district champions the first year and got in as a wild card the second year, so we know how hard it is. Moving down to Class C, it's not going to be any easier. There's 5, 6, 7, 8 good teams that are out there, and so we're excited about the competition to get there. And so with the group, that's our point across to these groups, that freshmen and coming in, it's not easy. They've come in and seen the success we've had, and we're emphasizing that you got to work every day. You got to get better every day in practice. Each day is an opportunity to get better and to move our team where we want to go. And these senior guys are great leaders. Just the first few days of practice that we've been able to get on the field and be together. I've been impressed with how the seniors are taking some of these freshmen under the wing and saying, this is how we do it here in the Kernels program, and just keep the ball rolling, because it's a fun ride to get down to state tournament. And now that you have it's just like any program. Once you get it rolling, the next class doesn't want to let up and wants to continue the success and get to the state tournament and finally knock down the door to be state champions.
Absolutely. I know I'm looking forward to the season. I'm sure the kids are too. But, like you said, definitely one game at a time. And, I think this team can accomplish great things. So, definitely don't put the cart before the horse, I guess. But, looking at last year's roster, I mentioned Kel Jensen leaving, but I think one of the big questions coming into the season was the catcher position. And, you lose a stud there and it makes it difficult. If you're not comfortable talking about roster, that's fine. But can you give us an idea of who we could see playing catcher?
Yeah, we have two guys in mind, and we're completely honest with players. That's the thing. I like to be transparent with the players. We have Kellen Freeze and Nolan Hurt are battling for that spot right now. Both of them are good outfielders. Kellen's probably one of the better outfielders I've seen in years, and so moving him out of the outfield and putting him at catcher, but it's what's best for the team if that's the way we go. Nolan Hurt, we're working on him, and we have a great assistant coach in Riley Dugan who works great with catchers, and so we'll develop one of those guys, and we might go back and forth with them at the beginning of the year to see which one's doing better and settle on one as we get going. But yes, catcher, losing Grecky last year, that's huge. He was a solid player back there, and we took it for granted that how good he did and holding runners on and with his bat as well. So yeah, that's one of the spots we're looking at. But we'll overcome it, and one of those guys will step up and do really well, and we'll move forward. But I have confidence in both of them.
Definitely, yeah, and like you said, Freeze is one of the best outfielders I think I've ever seen. Just the way he moves, it looks like he should be light years away from the ball, and somehow he just breezes over and makes the catch every time. Blows my mind. I can barely walk to the fridge without tripping over my feet, so I don't know how he does it. It's definitely going to be exciting once we get going. Once this weather clears out, next week should be really exciting to see the kids back on the field. And, just overall, we kind of touched base on it a little bit with the Legion success. We're seeing 3 schools come together, and each of them, has something that they bring to the table. Fullerton, the numbers haven't been great the last few years, but looking at Centura and Central City, it's been good numbers, but also kids who are well accomplished. How has that summer success helped with the Kernels, but also how has the Kernels helped build that summer success?
Oh, it goes hand in hand, yeah. Over at DCB, they've had a program running for years, and Joe Noakes is doing a great job, and that coaching staff over there is doing a great job. And so, I fully trust in their program, in the summertime, and those kids get great experience by coming over here and practicing 2 hours every day in the spring, and then going back to play for DCB in the summertime. So that helps. The Kernels program helps DCB, and DCB helps the Kernels program. Same thing with our Legion program here in the summertime for Central City. We've taken off since we've had Kernels program with, once again, being able to practice 2 hours in the spring, and then those guys just roll right in the summer ball without even skipping a beat. And our win-loss totals have dramatically increased in the summertime because of that. We jokingly say we hardly had any kids hit for power or hit for good averages before the Kernels program, and now being in the cage every day for 2 hours, where you have guys that are able to spray the ball around the park and get opposite field hits, where before we were struggling just to put the ball in play. So just being able to practice every day has been huge. And then Fullerton, obviously, like you said, with the numbers, but the Gonzers and the kids that come down, they add everything to us. So it's good for everything. So it's exciting to see all 3 programs come together, and the kids, when they're on the field together, if you didn't know, when you come watch our games, you wouldn't know what kids are from where, because they gel together so much. And we emphasize being a family and sticking together. And by the end of the year, they're really good friends. And every time we go to basketball games or volleyball games, or the kids just come together and they love being together. And Centura dudes came over and supported our basketball players in the finals there, and it was fun to watch.
Definitely. Yeah, it's definitely been awesome to see the Kernels family be built over the last few years. And you hit the nail on the head. You want to be able to tell who's who, who's from where. It's definitely one team and one unit, and pretty special to get to cover. I know I enjoy that aspect of it quite a bit, and just getting to know kids like Kellen Freeze, who is one of the best kids I think I've ever met. He's just always very respectful, and there's just a lot of good dudes on that team for sure. And even the Gonzers, I won't even say a bad thing about them. Baseball is something that I know that you're extremely passionate about. We're both Braves fans, so we talk about that often, and that's always fun, especially since they've been playing really well. But can you give us a little bit of an idea of your background and, I guess when you fell in love with baseball as a Neely little leaguer and, just kind of what it's like to still be a part of the game?
Yeah, I grew up loving the game. I remember going to my grandpa's house, and he always had the Braves on, and so that's how you mentioned the Braves. That's how I became a Braves fan. It's just watching the game as a little kid and going out and playing, with your friends. And at Neely, it would have been my sophomore year. We made the state tournament and did well, and so I went on to play a little bit at Wayne State College before getting into the coaching ranks. And so I think this is my 15th or 16th year of coaching, so it's been exciting. Every year is a whole different team, just like we just talked about here. This team's totally different from last year's team, and it's just that's the fun. Growing up, you played together with the same guys as you grow up, and so you get to know those players as you're growing up. And same with these kids playing right now. A lot of these kids have played together for years, and you join the Centura kids with the Central City kids, and it's fun. It's exciting to watch the growth. And for example, last night at practice, the first night we had 60-degree weather, so we were able to actually do a lot of stuff on the field. And there were some errors, but we emphasized to the guys, it's a process. It's if they're making that many errors in April, the end of April, then we're having issues. But you just got to get better every day, and it's a process. It's a grind. But it's fun, yes.
Definitely. It's a grind for me. I feel like I get to August and it's like, man, I need to quit writing about baseball for a little bit. So I can't even imagine what it's like for these kids to, start practicing this early and play all the way through the summer. And like I said, it wears me out. So can't imagine to be in their shoes, but I'm also super jealous that I never got that opportunity at the same time. It would have been really fun to have baseball back in 2005 through 9, but I shot trap instead, and I guess I did all right with that. But
Tomahawk up there, by the way.
Oh yeah.
So you mentioned the Braves fan. Yep.
Yep. That looks good. I don't think I have any Brave stuff in my office. I'm slacking. I got too much Central City wrestling and all other sports. So that's kind of how my office is decorated. I got some cornhole boards over there too for when I get bored, but that's about it. Like I said, Class C, a lot of guys coming back, a lot of reasons to be excited. One lasting message to Kernel Nation, what do you want people to know about this year's team?
The biggest thing, we're always going to be in it. It's this program's come a long ways, and we have a lot of kids that work really hard. When it comes to game time, and so looking back at the last couple of years, we knocked on the door to Class B. We've knocked off some really good teams down at state tournament. And, I think we finally established that we're here. We're not going anywhere, and so. I think we were a little disrespected last year down at the state tournament, and just because we were out in central Nebraska. But now, now being in Class C, it's a whole different ballgame. It's a different atmosphere, but we're not going to change what we do. We're going to keep grinding and keep working hard and see what happens. Like I already said, there's some really good teams in Class C, so we know it. There's a lot of good teams in Class C, so it's going to be a grind. We're just going to keep going forward like we have been, and hopefully at the end of the year, we're holding the state championship trophy.
Sounds like a great plan. I would love to be there for that. So that sounds like a good plan to me. But I know you're a busy guy. I got some snow to go play in, it looks like. It's coming down a little bit out there. So we will wrap it up before I ramble on any longer. But definitely thank you for joining us today. Everybody be sure to pack Kernel Field this year. It's going to be a good year. There's going to be a lot of wins. It's going to be exciting. So let's be sure to turn out and cheer on these guys. Coach Detlefsen, thank you again. It's been a pleasure. And we will see you next week, I guess.
Absolutely. Thanks for the coverage.
Yeah.